Hey, I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I've been busy with school and work and, life stuff. But today I'm going to show you how to make almond butter. My friend didn't believe me how easy it's to make. It is so easy. So the first thing you're going to need is almonds. Obviously. You could either get whole or you can get them sliced if you want to make the process easier. But either way is totally fine. And I mean, you could probably use ones that are flavored, but then it's gonna leave whatever flavor they are in the almond butter. So if that's what you're going for, that's cool. But I usually prefer like whole, natural, or sliced if I'm being lazy. But almonds. Food processors are important. Next thing you're gonna need is honey. It makes the almonds sweeter and tastes pretty. Or you could use butter, which helps the almonds stick together and act more buttery. Or you could use both. I've seen people use other things besides honey and butter, and I mean, if you feel like being creative, you can add, cinnamon, vanilla, chocolate, maple syrup, whatever you can think of. So the first step is making sure your hands are clean. Cleanliness is important with any kind of food. And also make sure your food processors. I know sometimes they're really difficult to clean, especially like this part and whatever, but it's really important, especially when you're making something like butter, because if you get anything like left over from whatever you made before is in there, it gets all gross and weird. So now that you're sure everything is clean, you're gonna open your bag of almonds, or whatever your almonds happen to come in, and take 2 cups, well, one at a time, but and put them into your food processor. Since I have a pretty large food processor, I could put more in, but I don't want to overload the engine or whatever. So I'm just going to start off with 2 cups. I always make sure everything's together before I plug it in, because I want to make sure that no crazy like final destination stuff happens, because electricity and whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna start processing now. You can either put it on pulse or just put it on, but I like to start off with pulse. And it's really loud, just so you know. And at first it's kind of gonna start looking like some type of like meal kind of mixture, but if you keep going, it'll start to look like what it's supposed to look like, I promise. This process should take about 10 minutes. You don't want to do it for too much longer than that, even if it doesn't exactly look like butter at that point, or like what it's supposed to look like, because you don't want to overheat your engine. And I've read a bunch of blogs and stuff like that when people kind of broke their food processors by trying to make this kind of butter. So don't do that. What you're gonna start to see is that it's getting a little bit sticky. Like, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's starting to stick to the sides. And this is a good thing. Eventually it's gonna kind of turn into like a dough, like a sticky cookie dough, and that's what you want. When it starts to stick to the sides a lot, you might want to stop it and scrape it, to make sure it doesn't get all stuck in there. Yay, almonds! You're just gonna, scrape the sides, make sure it doesn't stick, the usual stuff. Now that you unstuck the sides, so to speak, you can start blending again. You don't necessarily have to do this step, but I find that it's easier for all of it to mix together if you just, scrape the sides. To make sure it's all getting mixed well and even, so you get awesome almond butter. So after that cornmeal-y looking phase, it's gonna start to look like frozen cookie dough a little bit. I guess that's what you could call it. And it's slowly gonna actually start to look like regular cookie dough, which turns into almond butter. It's actually gonna start to ball up, and you should be careful with that to make sure it doesn't get stuck, or make sure it doesn't get stuck. See, now it kind of looks like peanut butter, except it's made out of almonds. At this point you can add whatever it is you're gonna add to it. I usually add a tablespoon per cup, meaning for each cup of almonds that I'm making, I add a teaspoon of honey, or butter or whatever it is I'm adding. So after the dough phase, you're going to see it get really creamy pretty quickly. At this point, you could start to add the butter, honey, or whatever mixture you're doing, or do it before. I already added a tablespoon, but I might add another. I mean, whatever your taste preference is really how you direct how much you put of each thing. Woohoo! We got almond butter, or well, almost. I'd say when it gets to this stage, you could either leave it or mix it for another minute, or to whichever consistency you prefer. Now that it's done mixing, you can either put it away, or my favorite part personally is when you taste test it. Doesn't it look awesome? Yay, almond butter. You can eat this, however you want, but I usually put it either in a sandwich or on some bread, like I'm gonna do now. I made some whole wheat pita earlier. Well, it's not really pita, but I tried to make whole wheat pita. Let's see how this tastes. Ooh. Success. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just blend for about 10 minutes. Even if it starts to look funny, just keep going and it'll turn out fine. You could probably put this in the fridge for about a week, maybe longer depending on what else you put in it. But it usually goes is however long you can preserve it for. Well, at least for me, because I really like almond butter. So I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll try to make more videos soon. No, actually, I really will. I'm gonna make more videos. At least try to go for one a week. For now. Yeah, and enjoy your almond butter. Let me know how it comes out, and if you like it, or if you hate it, or what you used it on. If you don't know what to put almond butter on, you could put it like in oatmeal, and on cereal, on bananas, or apples, fruit stuff, or even celery. I don't know if you've ever heard of ants on a log, which is like celery, butter, and raisins that look like ants on a log. Or really anything